Happy morning, children. Today we are going to discuss about our environment. We have the word environment often being used on the television, in newspapers and by people around us. Environment is the sum total of all external factors, substance and living. Our environment is the sum of total of everything around an organism, include both living and non-living components. The living and non-living factors influence the environment. See the picture? The environmental sum of the biotic and abiotic components is there. This is the abiotic component and here the biotic components.
Ecosystem. An ecosystem is a community of living organisms in conjunction with the non-living components of their environment. Interacting as a system, these biotic and abiotic components are linked together through nutrient cycles and energy flows. What is ecosystem? Living organisms seem to interact among themselves and with the physical environment. This, in short, can be called an ecosystem. There can be different type of ecosystem. The biosphere, for example, can be a global ecosystem. It all depends on the different components and the extent to which you want to define the space to consider it as an ecosystem, and hence to be able to learn more about them. Ecosystems are generally divided into smaller forms. Ecology or environmental biology is the field that study this complex set of relationships between the living organisms and their surrounding environment. The scope of this field is very large and covers things like global warming, environmental pollution, plant and animal extinction. See the flow chart of ecosystem. Biotic components and abiotic components. Biotic components: producer, consumer and decomposer. The consumer divided into three groups: primary consumer, secondary consumer and tertiary consumer. Abiotic components: examples: air, water, wind, soil, temperature, rainfall. Components of ecosystem. There are two main components of an ecosystem which are in constant communication with each other. They are the biotic components and the abiotic components. See the slide. Component of ecosystem. The ecosystem can be divided into two main components: biotic and abiotic components. Ecosystem include all abiotic and biotic factors in our particular environment. Biotic factors, the living part of an ecosystem. Abiotic factor, the non-living part of an ecosystem. Biotic components of ecosystem. The living components of an ecosystem are called the biotic components. Some of these factors include plants, animals, as well as fungi and bacteria. These biotic components can be further classified based on the energy requirement source. Producers, consumers, and decomposers are the three broad categories of biotic components. Producers are the plants in the ecosystem which can generate their own energy requirement through photosynthesis in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. All other living beings are depend on plants for their energy requirement of food as well as oxygen. Consumers include herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. The herbivores are the living organisms that feed on plants. Carnivores eat other living organisms. Omnivores are animals that can eat both plant and animal tissues. Decomposers are the fungi and bacteria which are the saprophytes. They feed on the decaying organic matter and convert this matter into nitrogen and carbon dioxide. The saprophytes play a vital role in recycling the nutrients so that the producer, that is example for plants, can use them once again. Biotic components of ecosystem. Producer, autotrophs, that's called photosynthesis. Consumer, heterotrophs, respiration. Decomposer is decay of the waste materials using for fungi and bacteria. See the picture. Abiotic chemicals, carbon dioxide, oxygen, nitrogen, minerals is utilized from the plants for photosynthesis. The energy is generated and consumer, herbivores and carnivores, decomposer of bacteria and fungi. Abiotic components of ecosystem. An abiotic factor is any non-living factor that is used to present in an ecosystem. Common abiotic factors include sunlight, oxygen, nitrogen, climate, temperature, pH levels, and water. Maintaining stable abiotic condition is extremely important for sustaining life. Almost all biotic components in an ecosystem rely on abiotic conditions to stay alive. For example, sunlight, soil, and carbon dioxide have a big effect on plants' growth. A change in pH, temperature, or water condition has a detrimental effect on organisms and their communities. Abiotic variables found in terrestrial ecosystem can include things like rain, wind, temperature, altitude, soil, pollution, nutrient, pH, type of soil, and sunlight. The boundaries of an individual abiotic factor can be just as nuclear as the boundary of an ecosystem. See the picture. abiotic factors. These are the non-living components of the ecosystem: water, atmosphere, temperature, soil, sunlight, and wind. Types of ecosystem. An ecosystem can be as small as an oasis in the desert, or as big as an ocean spanning thousands of miles. There are two types of ecosystem: terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. Terrestrial ecosystem are exclusively land-based ecosystem. There are different type of terrestrial ecosystem distributed around various geological zones. There are as follows: forest ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, tundra ecosystem, desert ecosystem. The first one, forest ecosystem. A forest ecosystem consists of several plants, animals, and microorganisms that live in coordination with the abiotic factor of the environment. Forests help in maintaining the temperature of the earth and are the major carbon sink. Grassland ecosystem. In a grassland ecosystem, the vegetation is dominated by grasses and herbs. Temperate grasslands, savanna grasslands are some of the example of grassland ecosystem. Tundra ecosystem. Tundra ecosystem are divided of trees and are found in cold climate or where rainfall is scarce. These are covered with snow for most of the year. The ecosystem in the Arctic or mountain top is tundra type. Desert ecosystem. Deserts are found throughout the world. These are regions with very little rainfall. The days are hot and the night are cool. Aquatic ecosystem. Aquatic ecosystem or ecosystem present in a body of water. These can be further divided into two types, namely freshwater ecosystem, marine water ecosystem. Freshwater ecosystem. The freshwater ecosystem is an aquatic ecosystem that include lakes, ponds, rivers, streams, and wetlands. These have no salt content in contrast with the marine ecosystem. Marine ecosystem. The marine ecosystem includes seas and oceans. These have a large salt content and a greater biodiversity in comparison to the freshwater ecosystem. Function of ecosystem. The function of ecosystem are as follows. It regulates the essential ecological process, supports life system, and renders the stability. It is also responsible for the cycling of nutrients between biotic and abiotic components. It maintains a balance among the various trophic levels in the ecosystem. It cycles the minerals through the biosphere. The abiotic components help in the synthesis of organic components that involve the exchanging of energy. Important ecological concepts. food chain. The sun is the ultimate source of energy on earth. It provides the energy required for all plant life. The plant utilizes the energy for the process of photosynthesis, which is used to synthesize their food. During the biological process, light energy is converted to chemical energy and is passed on through successive levels. The flow of energy from a producer to a consumer and eventually to an apex predator or a devourer is called the food chain. Dead and decaying matter, along with the organic debris, is broken down into its uh, constituents by scavengers. The reducer then absorbs these constituents. After gaining the energy, the reducer liberates molecules to the environment, which can be utilized again by the producer flow throughout the boundaries. An ecosystem is comprised of all the non-living elements and living species in a specific local environment. Components of most ecosystems include water, air, sunlight, soil, plants, microorganisms, insects, and animals. Ecosystem may be terrestrial, that is on land, or aquatic. Size of ecosystems vary. They could entail a small puddle or an enormous swath of desert. Likewise, natural ecosystem can look quite different from one another. See the food chain. The producer, that's called as a grasses. The primary consumer, that is called as a grasshopper. The secondary consumer, a blue bird, and tertiary consumer, snake, apex predator, owl, and one second return for the decomposer, that's called as a fungi or bacteria. Tropical rainforest ecosystem. Located in tropical region, a rainforest possesses a greater diversity of plants and animal life than any other type of ecosystem. As their name implies, precipitation is significant, lead to dense, verdant vegetation. Trees grow very tall and they compete for sunlight, and animals live in their canopy. Temperate forest ecosystem. Forest ecosystem are common across temperature climate areas where winter are good and summer are warm. They usually consist of deciduous tree which shed their leaves each autumn, and coniferous trees which stay green throughout the year. Taiga ecosystem. Taiga are a type of forest ecosystem located in the far northern regions of the world, also called boreal forest. They consist mainly of evergreen coniferous trees such as pinus and spruce. Grassland ecosystem. Grassland located in semi-arid zone contain wide tree-less expanse often inhabiting by grazing animal. Subcategory of grassland ecosystem include savannas, which are found in the tropic, prairies situated in temperate region, and steppes which can be found in either climate. Desert ecosystem with a dried climate than grassland. Desert ecosystems are characterized by relatively sparse vegetation, and the number of insects and animals is also relatively limited. Desert areas not necessarily hot. They can lie in temperature zone as well, nor must they be sandy. May desert feature rock flows. Tundra ecosystem. Tundra ecosystem located in the polar region or on the top of high mountain or frozen and snow covered most of the year. Life is hard in these white treeless lands, but during the brief summer, snow may melt enough to expose lichen or small wildflowers and attract migrating birds. Still water ecosystem. Various aquatic ecosystems can be found in stagnant or over slowly flowing waters, lakes, ponds, parks, freshwater and saltwater marshes. Swamps and lagoons are examples of ecosystem found in stationary or nearly stationary water. Algae, plankton, underwater and floating plants such as lily pods may inhabit the calm waters. A river and stream ecosystem consisting of following freshwater river and stream ecosystem support a variety of underwater life. They are relatively fast moving waters boasts a higher oxygen content than that of stationary waters, allowing greater biodiversity among plant and animal species. A littoral zone. Littoral zone are essentially coastline, the often shallow part of the ocean nearest the shore. The waters in littoral zones experience a significant amount of turbulence due to wave action. Seaweed, branchlets, mollusks, and crabs may be found in littoral zone. Coral reef. Coral reefs are often referred to as the rainforest of the ocean because these ecosystems theme with life and estimate 1/4 of marine species rely on them for food or shelter. In addition to corals and brightly colored fish, sponges, sea anemone, sea urchin, and clam make their home in coral reefs. Characteristics of food chain. Producer based. All subsistence food chain are produced based. Energy. Producer obtain energy from sunlight. Biogenetic nutrients. Inorganic nutrients must keep on circulating with the help of decomposer. Importance of food chain. Each organism fills a specific niche in an ecosystem that can be seen in food chain. Do they create initial energy through photosynthesis? Can they eat one group to keep the population is controlled? Do they decompose other organisms? Are they acting as a predator or prey? food chain are important because they show the intricate relationship in ecosystem. They can reveal how each organism depends on someone else for survival. Food chains also display what happens when a problem occurs and a producer or consumer is lost. Entire community can collapse. Food chain can help scientists learn more about ecosystem and how to help them stay balanced. Depending on the food chain you are examined, the same organism can be considered to be at more than one trophic level. For example, seals could be considered apex predator as the highest tropical level in certain environments where they eat fish that are primary or secondary consumer. However, in the communities where seals became prey for shark, they could be considered to be at a lower trophic level. These relationships are easier to see in food webs and harder to notice in food chain or pyramids. Food web. See the picture, desert biome food web. See the grasses, cactus and star cactus is gongoro rat, a grasshopper, the another one part lizard, rabbit and tarantula. It's go to another level, snakes and hawk. Finally, once again decomposing for bacteria. A food web is the natural interconnecting of food chain and a graphical representation of what eats what in an ecological community. Another name of food web is consumer resource system. The four characters of food web are as follows. They are formed by interlinking of food chains. They help in the development of the ecosystem. Food webs are never straight. Food web provide alternative pathway of food availability. For example, if a particular species of produce is destroyed by a disease in an ecosystem, the herbivores of that area can feed on other species of produce. Ecological pyramid definition. An ecological pyramid is a graphical representation of the relationship between the different organisms in an ecosystem. Each of the bars that make up the pyramid represent a different trophic level and their order, which is based on who eats whom, represented the flow of energy. Energy moves up the pyramids, starting with the primary producer or autotrophs such as plant and algae at the very bottom, followed by the primary consumer which feed on this plant, the secondary consumer which feed on the primary consumer, and so on. The height of the bars should all be the same, but the width of the each bar is based on the quantity of the aspect being measured. Types of pyramids of number. This show the number of organisms in each trophic level without any consideration for their size. This type of pyramid can be convenient as counting is often a simple task and can be done over the years to observe the changing in a particular ecosystem. However, some type of organism are difficult to count. especially when it comes to some Joule forms, until number of organisms. See the picture of pyramid of numbers, the upright pyramid, the bottom called producer, followed by primary consumer, followed by secondary consumer, followed by tertiary consumer. The another one called as a pyramid of biomass. This indicates the total mass of organism at each tropical level. Usually this type of pyramid is largest at the bottom and gets smaller going up, but exception to exit. The biomass of one tropic level is calculated by multiplying the number of individuals in the tropic level by the average mass of one individual in the particular area. This type of ecological pyramids solves some problems of the pyramid of number, as it shows a more accurate representation of the amount of energy contained in each tropic level, but it has its own limitation. For example, the time of year when the data are gathered is a very important, since different species have different breeding season. Also, since it is usually impossible to measure the mass of every single organism, only a sample is taken, possibly leading to inaccuracy. Unit gram -2 or unit gram -2. See the pyramid of biomass. Dry weight in kilograms per meter square. The producer grasses, tree, flowers 2.1 into 10 to the power of 7 kilogram per km square. Herbivores, deers and hare 21,000 kilogram. Primary carnivores, fox, wolf 2,100 kilogram. Carnivores, lion, tiger, etc. in 4,000 kilogram. Last but not the least is the pyramid of energy that show the overall energy in the ecosystem and how much energy is required by organism as it flow up the higher tropic level. The pattern of energy flow in this type of pyramid is based on the principles of thermodynamics. This law specifically says that the energy is neither be created nor destroyed, only transformed into another form. This pyramid shows that the energy is transferred from lower tropic level with more amount of energy producer to higher one consumer and converted the biomass. Therefore, it can be concluded that organisms found the highest tropic levels of shorter food chain bear a great amount of energy than the ones found in longer ones. Unlike the first two ecological pyramids, the pyramid of energy is always illustrated in an upright position with the largest energy carrier at the base. See the pyramid of energy, decreasing rate of energy flow. The pyramid of energy, the producer 10,000 kilocalories, primary consumer 1000 kilocalories, secondary consumer 100 kilocalories, and tertiary consumer 10 kilocalories. The idea of the pyramid of energy is very crucial. The idea of biological magnification, which is defined as the tendency of toxic substances to increase in amount as you go up the tropic levels. Function of ecological pyramid. An ecological pyramid not only shows us the feeding patterns of organisms in different ecosystems, but can also give us an insight into how efficient energy transfer is and show the influence that a change in the number at one tropic levels can have one on the tropic levels above and below it. Also, when data are collected over the year, the effect of the changes that take place in the environment on the organism can be studied by comparing the data. If an ecosystem conditions are found to be worsening over the year because of pollution or overhunting by humans, action can be taken to prevent further damage and possibility reverse some of the present damage. Energy transfer in ecosystem. Energy transfer describes the changes in energy, a state function that occur between the organism with an ecosystem. Living organisms are constantly changing as they grow, move, reproduce, and repair tissue. This biomass is then consumed by other organisms within the ecological food chain. See the picture? Energy flow through the system, heat energy lost from the system. The first one, the primary producer, that's called as a plant. The primary consumer, herbivores, see the rabbit and cow. The secondary consumer, small carnivores, that's called as a snake. And tertiary consumer is a large carnivores, the eagle. The solar system getting for the food from the plants. Global warming. Global warming is a term almost everyone is familiar with, but its meaning is still not clear to most of us. So, global warming refers to the gradual rise in the overall temperature of the atmosphere of the earth. There are various activities taking place which have been increasing the temperature gradually. Global warming is melting our ice glaciers rapidly. This is extremely harmful to the earth as well as human. It is quite challenging to control global warming. However, it is not unmanageable. The first step is solving any problem is identifying the cause of the problem. Therefore, we need to first understand the cause of global warming that will help us proceed further in the solving it. It is easy on global warming. We will see the causes and solution of global warming. See the picture, the ice is melting and a rising of water level. Cause of global warming. Global warming has become a great problem which needs undivided attention. It is not happening because of the single cause but several causes. These causes are both natural as well as man-made. The natural causes including the release of greenhouse gases which are not able to escape from Earth, causing the temperature to increase. Further, volcanic eruptions are also responsible for global warming. That is to say, this eruption release tons of carbon dioxide which contribute to global warming. Similarly, methane is also one big issue responsible for global warming. After that, the excessive use of automobile and fossil fuels result in increased level of carbon dioxide. In addition, Activities like minning and cattle rearing are very harmful to the environment. One of the most common issues that are taking place rapidly is deforestation. So, when one of the biggest source of absorption of carbon dioxide will only disappear, there will be nothing left to regulate the gases. Thus, it will result in the global warming. Steps must be taken immediately to stop global warming and make the earth better again. Global warming solution. As stated earlier, it might be challenging, but it is not entirely impossible. Global warming can be stopped when combined effort are put in. For that, individual and governments both have to take the step towards achieving it. We must begin with the reduction of greenhouse gases. Furthermore, they need to monitor the consumption of gasoline, which switch to a hybrid car and reduce the release of carbon dioxide. Moreover, citizens and chosen public transport or carpool together. Subsequently, recycling must also be encouraged. Depletion of ozone layer. Ozone is a gas in the lower level of stratosphere. It is a kind of supercharged oxygen, O3. The CFC and other similar gases were reached to the stratosphere. They are broken down by the ultraviolet radiation, and as a result, they liberated free atoms of chlorine or bromine. The effect of depletion of the ozone layer. When the ozone layer is depleted by UV rays of the such can penetrate to the earth, they have serious effect, namely skin cancer, impairment of body immune system, eye cataract, damage of genetic material leading to mutation of the affected organism, damage to crops, inhibition of photosynthesis or mobility of seaweeds include damage the aquatic fauna. Degradation of paints, rubbers, wood and plastic used in buildings. Waste. Waste are classified into two categories: biodegradable waste and non-biodegradable waste. Biodegradable waste, biodegradable material can be decomposed by microorganisms such as bacteria, enzymes and fungi. Non-biodegradable, an object that cannot be decomposed into organic and environmental safe waste product. This is unlike biodegradable object which can easily be decomposed by soil bacteria into organic and safe waste materials. See the biodegradable waste versus non-biodegradable waste. Biodegradable waste, peels of vegetables and fruits. Non-biodegradable waste, plastic bags. Biodegradable waste, papers, and non-biodegradable waste, glass bottles. Biodegradable wood and non-biodegradable can. And source of waste, the household item, commerce and industries, fisheries and agriculture. Effect of waste. It affects human health. It affects our socio-economic condition. It affects our coastal and marine environment. It affects our climates. Bioplastics. Bioplastic are plastic material produced from the renewable biomass source such as vegetable, fats and oils, corn starch, straw, wood chips, sawdust, recycled food waste, etc. Bioplastic can be made from agriculture byproduct and also from used plastic bottles and other container using microorganisms. Waste management. Waste management including the activities and action required to manage waste from its inception to its final disposal. This includes the collection, transport, treatment and disposal of waste together with monitoring and regulating of the waste management process. See the picture. Here we are discuss some multiple choice question for you. Every food chain in the ecosystem being with a dash which are original source of food. Option A, saprophyte, B, parasite, C, producer, D, herbivores. The exact answer C, producer. Explanation: all green plants and a few blue-green algae which can produce food by photosynthesis are called producer. Question number 2. We should reduce the use of plastic bags, bottles, etc. because they are not durable, they are non-biodegradable, they are made of toxic materials, they react with the atmospheric gases. The exact answer B, they are non-biodegradable. Explanation: plastic bags and bottles comes under the category of non-biodegradable products because they cannot be broken down by natural process and tend to damage the safety of the environment. Question number 3. Among the following, choose the correct option which contain only biodegradable items. The first one, wood, paper, PVC. Second one, paper, seeds, detergent. Third one, paper, animal excrete, wood. Fourth one, wool, leaves, paper. Option A, 1, 2 and 3 is correct. Option B, 1 and 3rd is correct. Option C, 2, 3 and 4 is correct. Option D, 3 and 4 is correct. The exact answer, option D, 3 and 4. Explanation: all the natural things produced by the nature are biodegradable. Question number 4. Which among the following statement is incorrect in view of the plants? Option A, they convert the solar energy into mechanical energy. B, they prepare their food from organic compounds. C, they are also called producer. D, they are the initial source of energy in a food chain. The exact answer B, they prepare their food from organic compounds. Explanation: plants prepare food from sunlight and inorganic constituents like carbon dioxide and water. Question number 5. In a food chain, the second tropical level is occupied by option A, carnivores, B, autotrophs, C, herbivores, D, producer. The exact answer C, herbivores. Explanation: herbivores occupy the second tropic level after autotrophs or producer. Question number 6. Green plant utilize dash presence of sunlight energy to prepare their food by the process of photosynthesis. Option A, 1%. Option B, 10%. Option C, 20%. Option D, 99%. The exact answer A, 1%. The explanation: the study of flow of energy between various ecosystems state that the autotrophs in a terrestrial ecosystem capture about 1% of the energy of sunlight that fall on their levels and converted it into feed. Question number 7. The process of accumulation of harmful chemical substances like pesticides in the body of living organism at each trophic level of a food chain is known as biological magnification, B. Biological accumulation, C. Chemical magnification, D. Chemical accumulation. Answer A. Biological magnification. Explanation. The buildup of toxic and chemical constituents like pesticides, DDT, herbicides in the body of biotic organism through feed web or chain is biomagnification. Question number 8. Which of the following may be conclusion of the excessive exposure of humans to sun ultraviolet rays? First one, peptic ulcer. Second, eye disease like cataract. C, damage of lungs. Fourth, skin cancer. Option A, 1 and 4 correct. Option B, 2, 3 and 4 correct. Option C, 2 and 4 correct. D, only 4. Answer C, 2 and 4 is correct. Explains too much of exposure of ultraviolet rays in the sun can increasing the risk of cataract and skin cancer. Question number 9. Which among the following is a correct full form of DDT? Dichloro diphenyl trichloroethane. B. Dichloro diphenyl tetrachloroethane. C. Dichloro decapentylic chloroethane. D. Dichloro diethyl trichloroethane. Answer A. Dichloro diphenyl trichloroethane. Explanation. The full form of DDT, dichloro diphenyl trichloroethane. It is known for this insecticidal properties. Question number 10. If 100 joule energy is available at the producer level in a food chain, then the energy available to the secondary consumer will be A. 10 joule, B. 0.1 joule, C. 1 joule, D. 0.01 joule. Answer C. 1 joule. Explanation. Produce converted sunlight into chemical energy, and when one form of energy is changed to another, some energy is lost to the environment in forms which cannot be used against. Question number 11. Which of the following radiation is responsible for the conversion of atmospheric oxygen to ozone? Option A, gamma radiation. B, cosmic radiation. C, infrared radiation. D, ultraviolet radiation. Answer D, ultraviolet radiation. Explanation. UV radiation is a highly damaged radiation which when enter the environment can changing atmospheric nitrogen into ozone. Question number 12. The substance which is chiefly responsible for the depletion of ozone layer is option A, CFC, B, CH4, C, DDT, D, O3. Answer A, CFC. Explain the use of chemicals like CFC as integrate the ozone layer. Question number 13. What will happen if deer is missing in the food chain given below? Grass, deer, tiger. Option A, the population of tiger increase. Option B, the population of grass decrease. C, tiger will start eating grasses. D, the population of tiger decrease and the population of grass increase. Correct answer option D. The population of tiger decrease and the population of grass increase. Explanation. The herbivores start missing. The producer population will increase and the population of carnivores will decrease dramatically. Question number 14. Which of the following substance will not be converted to compost when adding in the composting pit? Waste paper, B, fruit and vegetable peels, C, human or animal excreta, D, plastic bags. Answer D, plastic bag. Explanation. Plastic bags and bottles come under the category of non-biodegradable products because they cannot be broken down by natural process and tend to damage they safely for the environment. The last question. Global warming is the phenomena referred to option A, evaporation, B, ecological balance, C, greenhouse effect, D, deforestation. The exact answer C, greenhouse effect. Explanation. The increase in the greenhouse gases in the environment lead to the global warming. Thank you.